Hello, good people, and welcome to another exciting off-kilter and off-the-wall bananas crazy episode of Off the Deep End. I am your host, Braden Arbitrary Water Redacted, the bunch of cards with strange names of this podcast. Joining me, as always, is Chris Zombie Pie Redacted, the cute chibi art style in a ridiculously hardcore video game of this podcast.
I'm also the episode 3 of Department Heaven, in that I don't exist in imagination.
And we have another guest for the Summer of Sting. We have brought back Reki, the Japan only PSP sequel.
Why?
Of the podcast.
That's the most insulting one.
It's probably a good game.
Who knows? Maybe it's good. I don't think it has a fan translation.
I can kind of read a word sometimes in Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll work.
Yeah. So we have once again gathered here to talk about Sting Entertainment, makers of weird esoteric video games from roughly 1998 to 2011. Because after 2011, they basically they went into keep the lights on mode and have mostly been making games with or for Aqua Plus and Idea Factory.
They've become the Call of Duty support studio for weird Japanese indie games.
And then also inextricably linked to Idea Factory, but also it seems like Idea Factory bought them for their better performing IPs, in particular Dokapon Kingdom.
So so we are going to cover 2 of their portable games today. But before we start with that, you can get in touch with the show at inquiries at deep.lol. I'm sure Jeff still checks that email address. You can also support us on Patreon at patreon.com/deeplistens. $1 will get you access to the Discord, where you can yell at Chris for threatening to show people pictures of his toenail. For $3, you can get access to the OG Suncast, our mostly once a month podcast where ZP and I and Pete come to talk about anime, but anime for boomers, but not actual boomer anime like the Astro Boy. No, anime for the millennials who are now the boomers, because the Gen Z kids, they like the Jujutsu Kaisen.
You can't say that to me. That hurts.
We're old. We're the demographic
Trigun.
that the marketers think about, Reki.
Hey, guess what?
Trigun's
right. Pretty cool.
It is. It's great.
It also has a great modern remake, but we're not talking about that because that's modern and hip.
With the kids.
The teens love Trigun
Studio
Stampede.
Orange. Yeah.
Yeah, and also, Studio Orange, the only good CG anime studio.
Yeah, that checks out. I can't think of anything else off the top of my head.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if there are any other ones. I mean, I'm sure there are some like movie quality CG anime movies that are good, but
those don't count though because they get budget and time.
Yeah, because those have budgets, but Studio Orange is the only one that can make TV budgeted anime CG anime look good.
You watch your mouth. One day we will watch a Go Hands.
No, I have terrible news. Handshaker's post dates are soft time limit.
Don't
not
bullshit. You would drop that requirement in an instant if someone asked to watch Handshaker.
What about Berserk?
Yeah. We watched Berserk 97, so clearly we need to watch Berserk 2016. Yeah. No, I once showed a group of friends handshakers with them having zero knowledge beforehand of what a handshakers was or what a go hands was. And let me tell you,
you broke their brain.
Just a tremendous amount of dopamine hitting my brain watching them try to comprehend what they were seeing. Much like the games we played for this week's episode. We attempted to comprehend 2 of Sting's portable games. They are vaguely SRPG shaped. And we decided to turn this into a 2-parter because, frankly, Nights in the Nightmare deserves a spotlight on it. Its own podcast. Although I think I'll play a little bit of Hexy's Force too, just to.
I'll join you in that.
I've played it. It's a normal video game.
Yeah, but I figured, we might as well just do all of the ones that came out over here. But let's first talk about Yggdra Union. We'll never fight alone. Episode 2 of Sting's Department Heaven series, which doesn't mean a whole lot other than these games are loosely connected and are set in the same world.
So I was reading an interview about the episode numbering, actually, just before we got on. Mm-hmm. Apparently, the episode numbering only exists because the main director guy hates making sequels, and some business guy was like, "Hey, what if you just pretended that they were connected?"
And I made my joke with my intro, but episode 3 was whatever. They were working on an MMORPG because in 2008, 2009, every game studio was working on an MMORPG.
Yeah,
it never came to fruition, other than the fact that they said that they were working on it. And so episode 3 doesn't exist. So that's why Nights in the Nightmare is episode 4.
Yep.
And Gungnir
is episode 9.
So they gave episodes to canceled video game projects that weren't even announced and then just kept the numbering.
I think that's admirable and unhinged. Yggdra Union We'll Never Fight Alone originally came out on March 23rd, 2006 for the Game Boy Advance, 2 years into the DS's lifespan. It was later ported to the PlayStation Portable in 2008, and then to Switch and PC in 2021, which is the version I played. How does one explain this game? How does one? So
Yggdra Union?
It's called We'll Never Fight Alone because misery loves company.
Yeah.
And it's a game. It's a strategy RPG developed by someone who clearly likes making video games but has evil deep inside of his heart.
Yeah.
Holy hell, man.
So to get to the sorry, I'll say my little bit. To get to kind of the origin for like Yggdra Union and the belief system behind Department Heaven, I had to like okay, let's take a step backwards. So Sing started out as a company primarily doing port jobs for other games. They eventually find their own little crease, of all things, making sports games. They did extra innings for the Super Nintendo, or the Super NES. Sorry, not the Super Nintendo. And then also
Super Famicom.
TKO, Super Championship Boxing. And then like port jobs of tie-in games and vertical scrolling shooters. In 1996, they made a game called Treasure Hunter G. And it was with that game that they kind of developed a reputation of being able to make tactics games or tactical role-playing games. And even when they kind of like broke the dam and became the weirdo studio that we know and love with Baroque and maybe even Evolution, they still always had like this reputation of understanding the tactics RPG, even when they were very clearly making some weirdo games. So Yggdra Union speaks to that kind of origin of theirs of slowly but surely going from port jobs and sports games to RPGs, but specifically tactical games. And this is when Sting had a strategic alliance with Atlas.
Yeah, Atlas published all of their games over here.
If there's going to be a partner that gives you a green light with your weirdo batshit insane video game, it is Atlas from the late 90s to the early 2000s, right before Persona 4 started to become a big deal.
Mm.
Well,
this.
I was going to say Persona 4 is the limit as well.
Yeah. But yeah, PS2 era Atlas is definitely the publisher of note when you want your. They basically picked the ball up from Age of Tech, as far as like, we are going to publish your weird niche Japanese game.
Remember when Atlas's biggest franchise wasn't Persona and instead it was Trauma Center? Goddamn, Trauma Center was their biggest IP.
Yeah,
it was good.
Yeah, Trauma Center's all right. I will never play those Wii ones because, or maybe I will.
They're solid. No, they're good.
I bet they make for good content. I love motion controls.
Honestly, it controls a lot better than the DS control scheme for Trauma Center 1 and 2.
I bet. God. This crease when Atlas was publishing the weird games, and Atlas US specifically was publishing the weird like Japan only games, until Atlas became too good for that stuff, and also they got bought by Sega. And now Nippon Ichi and Marvelous are like have that role. So Yggdra Union is an SRPG that was made by people who clearly spent a lot of time, I would say, design workshopping their own, people with a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
There is a streak towards heterodoxy that we made the comparison to Saga before, and I think that's a fair one. Although Saga, as I think Chris said, Saga's insanity is because it does not convey information to the player, and you have to figure out the ways in which it is not like the games it looks like. Whereas I feel like the way these Sting games present themselves and are weird is they give you all of the information immediately and then leave you to try and salvage it. So, Reki, try to explain how this game is played.
Okay, so Yggdra Union, actually all the Department of Heaven games, in terms of what you actually do are very straightforward because you only ever really fight or watch visual novel cutscenes. In this game, you are presented a battle map like it would be a Fire Emblem style tactics game. It's you move all of your units, then all the enemies move their units, then it's back to you. Positioning matters a lot because as you move your units around, you get one attack per team turn. We'll get to attacking in a second. But you team up units based on whether they are male or female, which gives you either a plus or cross-shape pattern on the grid map. So that way you can have multiple stages of one-on-one quasi Fire Emblem style fights where the game is happening in front of you and you have extremely limited to no input most of the time. I likened it to basically a spreadsheet simulator. You also have a limited amount of movement on your turn based on what card you pick. You kind of make a deck before, or a loadout before you go into a map. And that deck is A, your attack stat, B, your movement range for the turn, and C, your time limit to fail the entire encounter. Because if you run out of cards, and you can only have up to like 8 or 9 at a time, you just lose. Which was not a problem for me, but I could see it being a problem. The cards also give you skills, which you use the skills by entering a combat scenario and charging a meter by holding left on the D-pad until a bar is filled. And then you have to perform a satanic ritual to figure out what kind of requirements are asked of you by this card to perform this skill. Is that about sum it up?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some other mechanics here and there that we will talk as we do this podcast, so to speak. But
this is a game about action economy, I would say, because you have you can only initiate one attack per round. So your job is to basically set up the most optimal one attack you can with your formation of characters, and then also make sure that that formation is set up in such a way that when the enemy phase happens, they won't just wipe you.
I guess that is something that all of these department heaven games have also as a shared similarity. It's that, like the action economy, but when I look at Yggdra Union, Riviera, and even Knights in the Nightmare, we'll talk about Gungnir later. All of these games also put a massive emphasis on the prep work prior to the battles starting, like giving your characters optimal equipment, and then that being the crux of whether you're victorious or not in combat. It's a lot worse in Knights into the Nightmare, because if you don't equip your characters with the best things, you'll just fucking die. And then you just got to deal with that. And in this game, Yggdra Union is a little bit more similar to Riviera in that, goddamn, you can spend so much time with these menus equipping stuff. And there's not actually all that much to equip, especially if you're not lucky and decide to not try and find the hidden stuff on every map, which we'll talk about later. But setting your characters up is almost as important as giving them orders in combat, because sometimes giving the equipment that prepares a character to be, elementally, or, there's a rock, paper, scissors mechanic here in this game. But being able to take advantage of that combat wheel or that rock, paper, scissors nature, it's that decides the combat. That decides that if the mission is a success more so than the actual tactical commands that you're giving turn to turn.
This is where I think Reki's comparison of this is a spreadsheet game. This is a ramming your stat block against another stat block.
Yeah.
And you need to optimize.
Because, like, the game pretends that you have an influence on actual combat encounters, but all you can really do is fill or deplete the skill gauge. And the depleting and the filling are exact opposites of each other.
Yeah.
In that if you're filling it, you're doing it's like half damage or reducing your attack by one of their tiers. Whereas depleting it does the exact opposite. You're increasing it by the same amount. So you're effectively not doing anything except charging it to full and hoping you didn't misread what your skill does.
Yes. And yeah, it's there are a lot of extant factors that determine whether or not your number is going to be better. The game straight up has the fucking weapon triangle.
It has like 3.
Yes. So, yes. So, hey, swords beat axes. Axes beat lances. Lances beat swords. But also, magic beats all of them.
But also, so do bows?
But also, yeah, and then bows beat magic, but are weak to melee weapons. But also, if you attack with bows, the enemy can't counter. And this is where I feel like the tabletop wargame aspect really cements it for me, is like there is a charge and counter charge, basically, and that is determined by your stats. And if your character's ability to charge is good enough, you can straight up alpha strike the leader of the enemy squad and more or less win right there. It's weird. And yeah,
that's the like sting we know and love, Braden. Yeah, we love
exit factors based on what items you have equipped, which by the
Sting loves items. They love having 10,000 items that do mostly the same thing.
So this is one of the things, though, I guess we have to chime off which version of the game we all played, because the way that the items are utilized or how you take advantage of items, this is one of the biggest differences from the Game Boy Advance. Well, there's another big difference we'll talk about later. The Game Boy Advance version versus the PSP version, which then became the mobile version, and then that was enhanced for the Switch and Windows version. So items in the original game were very, let's say, that system was way less forgiving than the way that it is in the version that we played. I don't think any of us played the GBA version of this game.
No.
I did not, because I played it once long ago and I knew what I was getting into if I played it.
But it's so...
It's got like this resource scarcity, like a survival horror style thing, where you have to really, really ration what you have and what you are going to use.
Yeah, and even then, like, some of the stats are fundamentally different. This is all to say, if you do decide to like listen to us humming and hawing about trying to describe this game and you want to give it a shot, play the Steam or Switch version. It has a stable frame rate. It's on modern technology. And they play better. There is no reason for you to track down a box copy of Yggdra Union for the Game Boy Advance. It's a genuinely spiteful, hateful video game if you play that version of the game.
True.
Yeah.
I think you're bearing the lead a little bit in that the other reason why we're hemming and hawing about how to describe this game is because it's esoteric in every possible facet.
I mean, dear reader, dear listener, dear whatever,
dear reader,
look at the character screens for this game, where it's like gen, attack, tech, luck, rep, circle, X, circle.
Yeah.
Then
and
shape.
The stats are measured by big stars and little stars.
Big stars, little stars.
If you want to figure out
affinities with certain attacks.
Yeah, if you want to figure out what your skill does, you can pop open a different menu that has a different layout style that will tell you, like, here is an algebraic formula for how its damage is calculated that is never the same as any other skills. And then also a random condition that you might not understand right away, like noon only.
Yep.
Same gender and size only.
Yep.
Then maybe you pick the weird vampire dude, and he only moves every other space rather than in a linear line.
Yep.
Which was something.
And he has
but he's
skills,
stronger than the girl.
He has skills that unsurprisingly make him much more effective when the map is at nighttime.
Yeah. I think the bigger thing, going back when I think about like how fiddly the items are, you can't unequip items when you give them to a character, which leads to my favorite exploit or strategy in this game, which is to min-max your characters in the modern versions of Yggdra Union. Because now items have like a limited number of uses, you'll sometimes even get pop-ups that say, you have one map left. If that's the case, you want to unequip that item and then have your character eat it. And then if you eat items, it boosts your morale stat.
It refills what is essentially your health.
Because it doesn't carry over between maps.
And getting a level up.
Or sorry, it doesn't refresh between maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. It also doesn't, when you get your level ups, which I was shocked when I was playing this game. It's a long ass time before you get your first character level up. And if you, let's say...
Yeah, it's like 2 hours.
It's 2 hours before you get your first level up. And then on top of that, if this is a strategy in the game, if you spend too much time with one character and don't like have other characters take the lead in leading their surrounding party members into combat so that they get maximal experience points, there's certain parts of the game where that's going to be a real big bummer that you have characters that aren't ready to deal with that. But man, this game, it starts off with, this is something that will come up, especially with the game that Braden will talk about next podcast. It starts off with a series of missions that you don't think are tutorial missions, but I guess the entire first chapter is a tutorial mission.
Yep.
Yeah.
And well, the game does not let you use the skills on the cards until the 7th map.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Before then, they are just raw movement numbers. Oh, and by the way, the movement is split between all of your units. Mm-hmm. So if you want to focus on positioning, which is kind of the crux of this game, then you want to pick a card with high movement first, and then in later rounds, you want to pick ones with higher damage or a good skill. But yeah, the game sort of drip feeds its mechanics, which is probably the right way of doing it.
It's definitely superior to the other Department Heaven games.
Yes, but it does feel like it's like you're reading the Necronomicon, and every page the walls just start like melting a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, all right, let's talk about cards. All right, let's talk about formations and the ways in which you want to set up formations so that you have characters attacking multiple characters attacking multiple enemies in the same round. But you want to make sure that your characters can actually win those encounters, because the only way you do damage to an enemy is if you win the skirmish.
Yep.
Like there's some math and some stuff for like there are penalties for attacking with just one character. Like you can sort of overpower enemies, but also if you have one character who has a good matchup against a bunch of enemies, you do not want to necessarily always keep them in formation if your other characters don't have a good matchup, because this is a game of hard counters.
Yes, this is how I ended up with an Yggdra that just did nothing.
Yeah, well, Yggdra, she's kind of bad.
They also just put her up against spear units for like 3 hours.
They throw mostly spear units at you, which means use Millinor.
Now, if there's one thing that you're right, Reki, they do give you like the worst possible matchup ever. They do have her use a weapon where there's less needing to think about it, in general.
That's true.
But which is her weapon is just a net neutral against everything, so you don't have to worry about her being less efficient. It's just that she takes more damage. But on the flip side, the other positive thing to say about this game is similar to Fire Emblem, if you get into a battle and a character loses their matchup against another character, you still get nominal experience points for that matchup. The tricky thing is you got to make sure that they don't die. And this is one of those games. I know we've said that none of us, I think, are a fan of this, where if certain keystone characters die in combat during the mission, it's just a game over. You lose everything.
And for the first while of the game, it's basically your entire party. If they die,
yeah, because you only have Yggdra and Protag,
Millinor, and
sometimes his beast boyfriend, and sometimes his girlfriend,
and also a cavalryman.
Yeah,
whatever his name is. Yeah,
Rufus.
Durant. There it is.
My favorite steel bug type Pokemon that's not Scizor or Genesect or...
So there's a lot of moving parts in this game, and I feel like we have not even scratched the surface. So the map and how you move the characters is the first thing that I think is the weird part. It's a grid-based map. It's not like full-on Fire Emblem even, right, Braden? It's like a lot of linear corridors.
Yeah, like there are a lot. It intentionally has a lot of choke points. There are... So, from what I can tell, putting your characters on defensive landmarks doesn't necessarily make them better at like reducing damage.
It like reduces how much or morale they lose if they lose.
And there are also skills that will trigger based on terrain. Like, for example, when you get the mermaids, when you get the mermaid character, she gets a bonus if she attacks from water.
Yep.
Which is, it sounds easier than it is. This is why Vampire Dude's kind of good, because he's gets weird bonuses fighting in the dark, and that's a whole different thing. Is there's a day-night cycle. And then the other thing about this is you really have to think about your placement of characters, because the big, huge thing, it's in the title, is the union system. It's the whole gimmick of this game where male characters have a special X form. Female characters have a plus form, where upon attacking an enemy, they summon all of their friends that are on this grid that is color-coded as an X or a plus. And if you place characters to be on their grid when they attack, they join them in attacking the enemy. Now, this also applies to the enemy. But you basically form these unions when charging into battle.
Yep.
And this will allow you to attack multiple enemies with multiple characters. Otherwise, you're just leading a single character to fight the same, a stack of 3 enemies.
And there's a fatigue system for fighting multiple sequential battles.
But there are times where, it's just 2 enemies on this enemy grid. I'll have Durant just charge in and fight both of them. There is a reward for that because you will get more experience points.
Yeah.
For Durant. And like you said, Reki, there were times where it's like, oh, wait, these are spearmen. This is going to kill Yggdra. I should make sure that she's not in his grid. But it'll also assist you in this. Oh, sorry, Brain. Go ahead.
If this sounds weird. It's because it is.
Yeah. I had this thought just now where this game and Gungnir and Knights, and kind of to the same extent Riviera, feel like someone who's developing a tabletop RPG and is just constrained by the fact that someone has to program this and make it presentable.
Yeah. It feels like game design workshop. We have some ideas, and we do not care about precedent. We just want to try stuff.
Yes.
And if you notice, dear listener, none of us have actually made any qualitative judgments about the game we have just talked about for the last several minutes, hours, years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I
Reki, did you beat this game?
Not this time for this podcast.
No.
I know what happens. I know what happens at the end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I looked it up.
This game's story is surprisingly fucked.
Yeah, it's dark.
Poor juxtaposition
before we get
art
into the
story.
No, there's one more mechanic we didn't talk about. There's fucking cards.
Yeah.
There's cards.
Yeah. Yeah, and each card has a different attack value and movement value and skill.
Too.
And at no point can you see the attack value, the movement value, the requirements to use it, and the effect for using it in the same spot.
Which makes it very difficult to plan, like, what's the actual best card for this turn of combat that I'm going into? It's like, should I use my maximal movement card? The card that gives me the most movement? Or should I use the card that gives me more attack? It's hard to tell because I can't figure this out based off of this screen where I'm forced to lock in and look at these cards and make a card selection. What a bizarre choice on that one.
I that feels like a limitation of the GBA.
Yeah, well, they should have
the amount of
that.
screen space.
They should have.
It's also a limitation of how they chose to present it. Like they didn't need to take up 2/3 of the screen with the art of the card.
Yeah.
I appreciate the art. It looks great. It's got this cool like Renaissance art style.
Painterly.
Yeah. But I don't need to see it after the first time in the database. And like the other problem is when you pick a card, you might pick it because you need the damage or you really need the movement. If you're using it for the movement, there's a chance, especially at the beginning of an encounter, that you're not attacking with it because the game loves to start you on the other side of the universe from your opponents. But the way you rank up the attack stat of the card is by fighting with it and winning. Which means that if you're relying on strong cards to win fights, you can only ever use those cards, but you only get them to use them once per battle or once per encounter. I hate it. I don't know how to describe it other than I hate it.
You can win during it. You get less experience if you win during the enemy phase.
Yeah,
it's a weird choice. I admit.
Is this an enjoyable SRPG? I don't know.
I appreciate it, but I don't think so.
It's a hard to recommend game.
I would say, unlike the other game we are covering this week, I don't necessarily like. I'm glad I will probably play more Yggdra Union just to say I did, but it feels like an academic interest.
Yeah,
because like I appreciate what they are doing and all of the different little parts, the moving parts and the spreadsheets and but I think it has too much going on. The direct feedback, I would say, the game juice, the direct feedback of this game is so hard to parse sometimes because there have been plenty of cases where like on the attack I will completely wipe out like enemies, but then when during the enemy phase with the same card with the same stats, they will just destroy me. And
because
part of that
go ahead.
Yeah, because certain character types get bonuses on the attack.
Yeah, and also there's the opener, what do you call it? Clash, assault,
the charge
mechanic.
Yeah,
the charge. So you can go into a battle with 7 units versus 7 units, and the initiator will just wipe out half of the opposing force. It's severely reducing your attack stat because those guys are just an attack buff to your spreadsheet, I guess.
Yeah.
But then on defense, this is one of Yggdra's things, is she just doesn't take counter damage. So she can initiate a fight, wipe out half their units, and then when they do the counter assault, she just doesn't take damage. You're like, cool. But then reverse, because she gets half of her unit gone, she just wipes immediately.
Mm-hmm. Which is why you do actually want her to get levels before a certain point in the actual story, because she does, I guess, turn the corner, so to speak.
She's no Roy Fire Emblem. She actually does get good.
But, man, which just raises the question, why do they put you with this character in such an unwinnable, completely fucked position for 2 hours?
Yeah.
Do you think this was intentional, considering the story and how she has no combat experience whatsoever?
So I think, we're maybe or maybe not the most well-equipped people to talk about the story, or the mechanics, but boy, we got to talk about this story, dude. We got to talk about this story.
It goes harder. So it starts out and it is very much SRPG, the SRPG.
Mm-hmm.
It is this princess, her kingdom got invaded by an empire, and you gotta fight against the empire with this plucky thief, and you're gonna rally together and fight back, and then it goes places,
and then you become the evil one.
Yeah, you become
you are the foreign invader.
Yeah,
killing everybody just murdering. Because
you need to. Princess Yggdra is the only way my kingdom will be safe is if I fucking kill everyone.
Which the game, if you're thinking oh, is this one of those cases where the game's not self-aware of
No, it is.
It is absolutely making the point of you were actually assisting someone or protecting someone who there was a reason why other people were opposing them, for example. And boy, it's an interesting concept. Man, hot damn, this story makes a clear point where it's oh wait, were the bad guys we were fighting actually, did they have a point? And the answer is yes.
Yeah, contrast this with the other games here. I think this is the only story where they actually use the genocide plot, I guess, effectively, and not for example, Gungnir is about atrocities and the oppression of the lower class, but that's just backdrop for the rest of fighting.
Yeah, and in this game, you are the atrocities.
Yeah, and it comes across very naturally to me. It doesn't feel to me like at any point someone flipped a switch and said it's evil time.
Yeah. No, it ramps up in a good way.
Yeah, it's the game doesn't shy away from the fact that you're doing these bad things. You see and have characters that are genuinely moaning in pain, or your character even makes the point should I actually be doing this? I guess I'm complicit. I might as well keep going.
Yep.
And there does come the point where your character questions Yggdra and her motivations and her reasoning. Could they have done that a little bit sooner than when they did it? Oh, absolutely.
Well, it's the same questioning, though. they do it early on. It's just at the same time, or at that time, it feels justified because they're the smaller guy.
Yeah. And yeah, I've played an SRPG before, so it's like, oh yeah, Princess, Evil Empire, we got to stop them. And then but I think one of the smart things the game does from the beginning is like, yes, you are on the back foot, but also the game does not necessarily portray the Empire as like fully unstoppable. Like, you are burning their supplies and immediately you are like burning their supply bases with these very cute, with these, fairly chibi looking anime characters. The English voice acting from the PSP version is every single anime voice actor that Atlas had on staff in 2008. So there's some Liam O'Brien. I'm pretty sure Millinor is voiced by Spike Spencer.
Yeah, I would say that I know that they did this they had the weird chibi art style because, it's a GBA game. There are some technical limitations there. But there is something that kind of lessens the punch when it is cutesy anime horseshit and then also trope appropriate anime voice acting when some really gnarly stuff starts happening. And this game starts with
Like,
a
it's not
musical
super graphic,
AMV.
but
Yes.
the game is still very clearly like, oh no, you are burning everything.
I almost found it more effective in the same way that like Made in Abyss is more horrifying when it's happening to cute little characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it working in Made in the Abyss because everything around them is like the worst abominable, like these eldritch horrors. But the environment is like the environmental work is pretty much non-existent. You're looking at these 2D backgrounds and it's the same 5 backgrounds. And there are a handful with the PSP version moving forward. There are a handful of anime cutscenes. There's, of course, the one that I already mentioned, the one that plays at the start of the game. But it's a game that uses its, let's say, technical prowess sparingly. And that's not the point. I think the point is to send a message about this character that you previously trusted actually being corrupted or just is singular in their vision about what they need to do to protect their kingdom. Everyone damned all.
And never makes the right or like the smart choice.
No, there are other times where her judgment is questioned and she just commits to a plan and all right, we're just going to have to go with it, I guess.
Yeah. I'm thinking of there's a sequence earlier on in like chapter 2, chapter 3 where these two opposing forces have this Ankh, which is basically a nuke.
Oh, right, yeah.
And they were two factions that were living in relative harmony, but because they came into possession of these weapons, have started this war against each other that's not going to end until one of them has both of the Ankhs. And the solution there, according to Yggdra, is just kill one. If this war isn't going to stop, just pick one, and you get to pick, and kill them.
Mediation is for nerds.
Yeah. Who needs to talk to people? And then we just roll with it.
So yeah, it's an interesting game. I wish I enjoyed playing. Like, that's genuinely... I feel like we've said this with a couple... Well, no, Riviera is easy to recommend just because it's almost like, what if you took a tactic RPG and it had the linearity of Final Fantasy X, but way more inventory and equipment management.
It's the easy read of video games.
It's the easier recommendation. And Baroque is, if you want to play a vibes game, boy, Baroque is perfect for you. But also don't go in expecting the actual vibes to connect to a coherent story unless you really decide to go sicko mode and like go well beyond the surface with that one. This one has something to say. I like what it said. I even think it's visually and technically appealing. I just did not like playing this game.
I will play more of it. But yeah, it feels like the game is asking or a little too much from you based on the information it conveys as an SRPG, as a tactics.
It also front loads so much of its vocabulary and its teaching at the start, and then it's just way too much for you to process. There's no chunk and chew of the information, to borrow a teaching term that Reki and I are. There's no chewing of the information. It's just all just ad hoc, all at once, nonstop, no breathing room, none. But
it's
not without merit. It is not without merit.
And yeah, I think it's worth a look, and it is on, like Riviera, it is on modern platforms. So get it on sale if you're interested.
It's like one of those, if we're talking about like RPG icebergs, like tactics or strategy RPG icebergs, this is an intermediate game. This is like maybe slightly below the middle point of the iceberg.
Yeah, but it's still above like the mill sim games that are just
now Knights into
developer art.
At the fucking bottom of that iceberg, bro.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
Yeah, it's close. We'll get to okay, yeah. So yeah, that's Yggdra Union. And so now we go to we're skipping Nights in the Nightmare because Nights in the Nightmare deserves its own episode, basically. So instead we are going to move to Gungnir. Gungnir is, as I said before, kind of the last of Sting's original games. Before they.
There's one more, but yeah.
Well, yeah, there's one more.
There's one more.
But it is kind of the tail end of their independent developer. We are going to make our own stuff. Before they, went back to being more of a support studio and a porting studio. But Gungnir came out on May 19th, 2011 for the PlayStation Portable. It came out in the US a year later, and in Europe in 2013. It is episode 9 in Department Heaven, which is to say, there were 6 more games that were in some form of development that all got canceled between
I wonder if like Dungeon Travelers or Generation of Chaos might have been at some point
an original game universe that then they had the 2 hearts shoved into.
Knowing them, I feel like they would have at least said what kind of game it was if they had something.
Yeah. But anyways, Gungnir.
So, Gungnir. Gungnir is a much more comprehensible video game. I would describe it as Final Fantasy Tactics. It is in that Final Fantasy Tactics, but for maniacs.
Yeah.
With a lot of timeline manipulation.
Final Fantasy Tactics, but completely asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Sure,
so, staggered initiative systems. They are cool. I think listen, one of the reasons we fucking love Grandia 2 so much is the ability to knock an enemy back on the timeline and interrupt their actions.
Yep.
Right? I like that shit.
Loved it in Final Fantasy X. Yes.
Monokemia is great for this reason.
Yes. We should play one of those Monokemia games.
Don't
if we're gonna play one Atelier game, it will be Monokemia, because if we cover the new ones, then
there's like 2 good Atelier games, and both of them are Monokemia.
Yeah.
Don't at me.
You can find him online at Reki, twitch.tv/RekiWills.
True. YouTube as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love a good staggered initiative system. It's one of the things that makes that fucking XCOM cop game interesting, is they built the game around that. So Gungnir is very much it is a Final Fantasy Tactics Ogre style SRPG with, the square grid and the facing directions and the whatnot. Except it is all about that. It is all about ensuring that you can manipulate your turns to have more turns.
Hey, Arbitrary, how many turns do you get compared to your enemies?
Many.
Like, I count them on one hand?
Yeah. You get... Yes?
You get... Your entire team gets 1 turn.
Yep.
By which I mean you can select 1 unit on your team.
Yep.
To do something with.
Yep. You get 1 action per... and guess what? Actions, they take different amounts of time on the timeline.
Mm-hmm.
So waiting does not take that much. This game has straight up control points on maps that increase your stats, which you need to capture.
Because they also let you change your equipment mid-battle or swap a unit out.
Well, no, this leads to the whole thing, like, so when you are playing the game, it basically boils down to events, battles, and the visual novel horse shit.
Yeah.
And yet again, like I said, it's actually the most important part of this game is actually buying equipment, putting the equipment that's the best possible equipment on your characters going into the mission, depending on what the environment or the enemies is that you're fighting. And like you said, it's a time system where you can knock people back and like put them into like these canceling moves to where you get 3 attacks to KO 1 enemy and they didn't even get 1 swing of their sword against any of your characters.
Yeah.
Now, the thing that Reki is talking about, the tactics points.
Yep.
It's not super intuitive what your tactics gauge is and how you fill that gauge up, or how you get more points in order as you progress the game. I later discovered that most of the time you're primarily gaining them by obtaining control over key locations in each battlefield.
Yeah.
Which is like those key points.
And moving.
Moving.
So
the game
even though
wants
this is
to move around and get control points, you do not benefit from choke points.
No.
But all the maps are designed around having really killer choke points.
Yup.
Yeah, which is a choice. I mean, I sometimes talk to Braden about how I feel like the modern Fire Emblem games really are just like games of chicken where it's a giant square, enemies on the left, I'm on the right. We have to play this game of chicken as to who will bite first to, try and go into my overlap so that I can attack. This game kind of solves that problem. I wouldn't say that I like this solution, but it tries to solve that problem of corner camping and turtling and just massing up in a choke point. Again, I don't know if I actually like this solution, but it seems like they tried to solve a genuine problem that tactical role-playing games have.
When you put it like that, yeah, I can see it.
Yes, like this feels based in reality.
Yeah.
It feels based in like the culture and the conversation around SRPGs and the post Final Fantasy tactics. Like how do we make these squares good? And yeah, it responds with violence. It's I actually liked playing this one more than Yggdra Union.
Yes, this is a competent video game artistically and technically.
I like the art style. It doesn't look like, I would say, like the character designs are very much, I would say they don't look like a lot of other games. Like they're very
They have that signature art style of this era of Sting.
Yeah.
Like, it looks a lot like Riviera to me.
Yes. But like the previous game, this one starts with plucky rebels
who decide that the first thing they want to do to introduce themselves to you, the player, is kill a bunch of people and debate whether to sell a young girl to slavery.
Yeah,
normal stuff. But
like,
talk about the combat for a second.
Yes,
I just want to highlight they stole a bunch of ideas from Disgaea also.
Yes,
but they're weaponized against you in some really fun ways. Like, for example, you can surround a unit and have your guy do a combo attack against them. So if you have, say, 4 of your allied units around one guy, you can attack with one main dude and have like 3 follow-up attacks, almost exactly like you would see in Disgaea. However, the AoE in this game is very bad. It's a very linear game, so getting out of that kind of situation if it ever happens to you is hard. Archers can only target in straight lines. There's none of this diagonal nonsense like you would have in a Fire Emblem. It's not 2 tiles of radius. It's straight forward or straight sideways. There's the Final Fantasy tactics obstruction, both in terms of if you shoot an arrow and there's a wall in front of you, that arrow is not going anywhere, and also friendly fire if there's someone in your way.
Yeah.
There's a counter system.
Oh, there's a hard counter system in this game. It's not just a counter system.
There are weapons dedicated. Okay, so every weapon is its own attack, or in some cases multiple attacks. So if you have a sword, you're doing the sword attack. But if you have a different sword, you're maybe doing a 3-panel row attack instead, and that's just intrinsic to the weapon. But then there are weapons that don't attack. All they do is sit there in your inventory, and it says, if a weapon of a certain, or an attack of a certain category hits you, you hit them back.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can just walk, because a character will have 8 equipment slots, which is both your defensive equipment, your weapons, and whatever items you want to take into battle. You can just run around with 2 or 3 of these weapons and be like, I counter all attacks. You're never touching me.
It's great when you're able to do it against the enemy, but it's also important.
Yeah.
The enemies can do that against you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's how would I describe it?
This game's hard. There's also
it's hard. That's the thing to say is yes, I think I did enjoy this game more than Yggdra Union. I actually think this game is harder.
Yeah, it's infinitely more frustrating.
With Yggdra Union, you can basically slum it in that game, not giving a goddamn shit about the actual granular mechanics that are at play there. And then, later the game will start kicking your teeth in, usually probably when the day-night mechanic, ramps up. But this game starts kicking you hard in the teeth, right from the rip.
Yes.
So other things that make this hard, one of them stolen from NIS, lovingly, I'm sure, knocking enemies out of the arena for an instant kill. There's an entire class of character dedicated to that, and it's great. If a character falls from too high, if they're pushed or try to make a move action off too many vertical spaces, they take damage and lose their turn.
Yep.
You can drown.
Yeah.
If you're in running water, because as Arbitrary was saying, there's a constant sense of time. There's a current, so as time goes, your character gets forcibly moved through the water, and if it's too deep, they drown and die.
See, I actually like that because I do like the fact that I've always been the kid playing like Final Fantasy Tactics or Fire Emblem. It's like this character is wearing full body armor and is in a what? They should be dead. They should be at the bottom of this water and dead. So the fact this game kind of does that, I thought was funny. But here's the flip side to that. The game doesn't explain any of this shit. Like, it just throws shit at you, and then a character will die, and then you're like, oh, okay, wow. So that's something that you're going to do to me? Well, I guess you're going to reset to the mission. Or reset
as opposed to Yggdra Union kind of, like, slowly and violently parceling out its mechanics. This game starts with
there's almost a classic Shin Megami Tensei-ness to the game, to where it's like, you're just kicking me in. You're just kicking me in the teeth. We're just going at it. And I don't know if this is going to be another one of those games where we're going to have a tough time ranking it, because it's rough. It's cool. I don't necessarily hate it. It exists. But, it really does play the way that it plays. And that's cool, I guess? I don't know.
Yeah, I think this one is cool, but yeah, it's definitely very much in a, you would benefit from going to GameFAQs and reading.
Oh, all of these games require a guide.
Yes.
Yeah, even Yggdra Union.
I mean, yeah, that one also.
Yggdra Union requires it because it has all of those weirdly placed items where if you don't know what you're doing, or if you don't know where they are and you don't pick up any of them, you're just going to be kneecapped later at
because sometimes because the best way to restore your health is by eating items. So and some of those items are just hidden on random tiles.
Which you have to stop on them. So you might stop in the middle of nowhere to pick them up, which you're only going to do by complete accident.
And walking over those secret tiles does not count. You have to spend a turn on those tiles.
Well, you don't have to spend a turn. You just have to do one at a time. Go bloop, bloop,
yeah.
bloop.
But still, it's not there. Yeah. There are so many ways they could have done this to make it easier. They didn't do it. But in this game, dude, like, you need to play this game with a guide. Otherwise, it's just trial and error every single mission, and I don't have that in me anymore.
I will give them, though, if you die in Gungnir, you can retry it with all of your XP and whatever gain. It treats it like it's the next map instead of starting from scratch.
Yeah.
So even characters that have an HP penalty from going down in the previous fight get that restored. And I guess that's because they didn't want to make maps that are just for farming XP, which I appreciate.
Yeah.
There's really no incentive to farm for EXP in this game. Even if they did allow it. That's not how this game plays.
Yeah, no, this is a get good kind of game.
Yeah.
Interact
with
the systems.
The numbers matter, but not as much as... I guess, yeah, in contrast to Yggdra Union, where it feels like the biggest thing that matters is just setting up and having your big ol' stat block. Gungnir does. It feels like the actual movement on the map in Gungnir matters a lot more.
Yeah. I would also say that Gungnir's AI, the enemy AI, very unforgiving. If you make a tactical mistake, the AI will immediately pounce on that make you pay for it. And sometimes there's no recovering from that, and you're going to have to go back or reset the mission. So there's very little wiggle room with many of the missions, which adds to the fact that this is a hard game. I'm not saying I hated it. There's something about this that feels very reminiscent to the classic Kaga Fire Emblem games.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
But be aware, even if I think this is far more coherent than Yggdra Union, be aware, dear listener, this game don't play around.
It does not. Yeah, so let's talk about the story, unless there's anything else we want to talk about the gameplay.
There's not a lot. Like, you fight, and then you watch the story happen.
Yeah. I feel like, Final Fantasy Tactics, but with a bunch of timeline manipulation, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, the story of this game, similarly, not quite as, like,
potent.
Oh, are we the baddies as Yggdra Union?
In a lot of ways, it seems like it's a step backwards to more simpler of the games from this Sting developer, but they still wanted to do the stuff that they were known. So it feels like a half-measured step between, their earlier works and their present works, or their present body of works, which is in some ways fine, but also, yeah, you're right. Like this is a less metal, less brutal story, and it's just not nearly as engaging.
No,
narratively.
Yeah. It's also did you finish this game?
No.
Okay.
I got this I got further in than Yggdra Union by a lot, by a not insignificant. Okay. Looking at this guide, it seems like I got to the halfway point. So I might later.
It's also not that long.
This one I would also play more of. Like
I will play more of this.
But the difference is I want to play more Gungnir, whereas Yggdra Union, it feels like I'm dissecting some sort of ancient text.
You're getting your credits in your Department of Heaven University program.
Yes, I'm doing my homework.
Okay, because I was asking because
also, like, not super long.
True. Yeah. It's like 30 maps, I think.
Yeah. Which is to its benefit, I feel like. Oh, this game did not review well.
No, and this is what I was going to say.
Not surprising.
Yeah,
this game feels unfinished.
Yeah.
Narratively.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about how this game doesn't feel like it's fully complete, or it ran out of budget?
I was going to say, like, the reason I asked if you finished it is because the ending answers no questions. Or resolves anything.
If I didn't finish the game, like this is a top-heavy game in that the first quarter of it pops off and has so much happening, and it feels quick, boom, 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 location after location after location, and then things slow down, and you spend way more time in the same locations rather than going to new ones, and it's like, what is going on? And it's technically uneven in a lot of ways.
There was no round of polish, I guess is how I would describe it. Like, it's hard because there was no one looking over what was already made and being like, hey, does this actually work? It technically works, so moving on.
Yeah, it definitely feels. I could see that. I could see that being like hey, we had to put this out the door.
And if this was the last of their independent games, I would have said, like, that was indicative of whatever was going on with them as a business at the time. But
yeah, there's technically one that came out like also in 2011, which is the third Union game. What is it?
Blaze Union,
and then there's was it Delta Union?
Gloria
Union.
Yeah.
So Gloria Union is apparently Gloria Union also got a Switch release in Japan. Finding that out. Gloria Union technically came out a couple months later.
Yeah, looking at it, though, I'm glad that they keep re-releasing these games, but whoever there is at Sting, all three of you, dog, what are you doing? Everyone wants you to release Baroque. Stop
Sting,
fucking around. Release Baroque on Steam, you dumbasses.
Well, release Baroque in English, because you can, once again, you can buy Baroque on the Japanese Switch
only in
store.
Japanese. God damn it.
Yeah. Tens of people would buy copies of Baroque in English. And I would be one of them.
They released also the weird mobile tie-in game and the Bad Frogger Baroque video game, but both of those are only in Japanese. And they're on Steam. Bananas. It's like, if you're gonna do what has happened to like Game Arts and so many other classic Japanese role-playing game studios and go down the Switch and Windows Steam port job of your classic games rabbit hole, fully commit and release your goddamn games. They gave us Dokapon Kingdom, Braden. They gave us Dokapon Kingdom.
But that game does gangbusters.
Yeah.
Sure. Whatever you say. People
in comparison.
Dokapon Kingdom.
God. Dokapon Kingdom, also a Sting game.
We're still debating if we want to record a podcast about Dokapon Kingdom. I don't think I do.
It's evil Mario Party. You don't.
Yeah,
it's so much more evil.
It's the game of life, but shittier and 400 hours. There. That's my feeling on Dokapon Kingdom.
Great Dokapon Kingdom podcast. Wrap it up.
Yeah, Dokapon Kingdom podcast. I dislike it.
It's hateful. It's a waste of time.
It's not funny hateful because it's too long.
Yeah. Okay. So I feel like we're going around in circles. Let's rank the two games. Just to clarify, we will talk about Nights into Nightmare.
Nights in the Nightmare, and we'll probably also just cover Hexy's Force, since that's another PSP game that Sting made. That one is the most normal.
One of the most normal.
Yes, of their games. All right, so you can find our list at bit.ly/OTDE rank. Just to pull it back up. Let's see. Our top 3 games: Might and Magic 6, Suikoden 1, and Xenosaga Episode 1. Our bottom 3 games: at number 95 is Unlimited Saga, at number 96 is Hoshiwo Mirohito, and at number 97 is Descent to Undermountain. All right. Let's start with
I hate to say that, like, both of these are going to be pretty rough to rank because they're sicko games. We're sickos. I like sicko games.
Yeah.
We're
ranking for ourselves.
Yeah. I think I agree. I think we came to where I ended up feeling, which is I don't like Yggdra Union as much as
I don't like playing Yggdra Union.
Yeah.
But also I'm gonna play more of it.
Could you baseline it based on how you feel relative to Riviera?
Okay. Yeah.
I like Riviera. Let's start with Riviera.
Yeah.
Let's start with Riviera.
Riviera's at number 18. We liked Riviera.
Where did we rank Baroque?
Baroque we ranked at 34.
Actually, I think let's start with Baroque then, actually, because I think that Riviera it's a genuinely good game. I recommend people play Riviera.
Yeah,
and then if
Riviera is
really
actually cool and novel.
I think the pipeline for me, as of now, is Riviera, then Baroque. If you're interested in doing Sting.
Yeah.
Because Riviera is just a good time. And then Baroque is where you can see the sicko nature of Sting.
All right.
I think that this game is worse than Baroque. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you rather play Yggdra Union than Fallout 3?
I actually recently played Fallout 3. But then again, I was playing with that mod that came out. Yeah, I'd probably play Fallout 3.
Okay. Would you rather play Yggdra Union or Legend of Dragoon?
I probably would play Yggdra Union.
Okay.
How do you feel, Braden?
I'd rather play Yggdra. Once again, Legend of Dragoon. The only reason that game isn't lower is because it's too technically competent.
Yeah. Also, we recorded that podcast with Gino, and he got up in his feelings about that. I love you, Gino, but that's just genuinely what you did.
I don't. Legend of
Okay,
Dragoon.
let's go with that. Braden,
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations to our new number 36 Yggdra Union.
Let's go.
We'll never fight alone. All right. What about Gungnir? I think Gungnir goes above Yggdra Union.
Yeah. I think. Actually, let's go back to Baroque.
Yeah.
Would you play Baroque or Gungnir?
I'd rather play Gungnir than Baroque.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's better than Baroque.
All right. Do we want to go up a couple more?
That are gonna fight us, but
do we want to go up a couple more? For example, would you rather play Gungnir or Lost Odyssey?
Oh, I would rather play Lost Odyssey.
Okay.
Let's not.
Would you rather play Gungnir or Dragon Age 2?
Oh boy. Fuck.
My brother's complaining about his girlfriend to his friend while playing Rocket League.
Gungnir.
Okay, you'd rather play Gungnir than Dragon Age 2?
That was the right choice.
Yeah.
Anders.
Yeah, okay.
Fucking Anders.
Congratulations to our new number 31, Gungnir.
Shit, Anders.
And our new number 37, Yggdra Union.
Anders.
Yeah. I'm fine with that. Both these games are interesting. I think Gungnir is actually like a decent SRPG from that era. And I think people should look at them. Maybe
Braden, it's not like they're gonna get any more competent.
Yeah, it's not like
more coherent.
There's a game that we intentionally skipped over because it is one of the most bananas fucking crazy video games I have seen come out of a.
Look out for your next number one.
Yeah,
we're gonna look. We're gonna have to have a real discussion. I'm not saying that it's as bad as Unlimited Saga, but we're gonna have to have a genuine discussion if Night into Nightmare is the most video game. It might be more video game.
It is much video
Unlimited
game. That
Saga.
is true.
It's the most video game. I think I've ever seen.
It is
a very fucking bullet
it is an
hell
overstimulation of a video game.
It's got shit popping off. It's got the bullet hell mechanic.
It's got a slot machine in it.
It's got
machines,
like voice lines constantly repeating.
And then you interrupt those voice lines by interjecting with different voice lines. It's dude, it's so much video game.
Yeah. We'll have to.
We'll get there when we get there.
We'll be back with that next time, and I guess also Hexy's Force.
Sure.
And then
I'm glad you picked Hexy's Force and not Evolution because holy shit.
I mean, I feel like Evolution for the Dreamcast. Evolution. We should also talk about Evolution at some point. But we only have so much time in the summer, and we already know what the last game is going to be because we're sick people.
Yeah. We're doing Idea Factory. No, I'm just kidding. No, I would never.
No, Aqua Plus.
I know.
Say their names with respect. Who could forget Aquapazza Infinite? No, wait, no. Nitro plus Heroine's Infinite Duel is the Nitro plus fighting game. Aquapazza is the Aqua plus fighting game.
Yeah.
I don't know if I understood the last two sentences you just said.
So there's a fighting game, Aqua Plus, and their hentai label Leaf, have made some very popular visual novels such as Two Heart and White Album.
Utaware
Rumono.
There was a very good video documentary by Bowl of Lentils about the history of Leaf on YouTube. Find it; it's genuinely incredible documentary work.
And one of the fun things about that was that they basically retired the Leaf branding because it turned out that you didn't need to make your games hentai games anymore. after Clannad.
Yep.
Anyway, that'll be it for us this week on Off the Deep End. So come back next time for whatever the fuck that next game is. Thank you, Christopher.
I'm not looking forward to playing more Nights into Nightmare.
Yeah, thank you, Reki. Where can people
I
find
can't
you?
wait to play Nights in the Nightmare.
I'm going to play so much fucking Nights in the Nightmare.
Yeah.
I feel like the last time I played that game, I got a horrible splitting migraine headache, and I wanted
more
to take
video
a
games
to my skull.
Not since Cruelty Squad has a game been so overwhelming to the senses.
Yeah,
that's accurate.
Yeah. And thank you to SuperSex420 for letting us use our theme song. You can find them on Bandcamp. I have sometimes forgotten about that, but thank you, SuperSex420. And there's no such thing as cheating in a single-player video game. Look it up on GameFAQs. You're not too good for it. Bye.